Hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück auf meinem Kanal zu einer weiteren Folge Vampyr. Ja, aber du musst was essen, Junge, damit du bei Kräften bleibst. So, auf zurück nach Whitechapel. Oh, ein Mülleimer. Den habe ich beim letzten Mal scheinbar übersehen. So, sind wir hier überhaupt richtig? Status des Bezirks bedenklich. Whitechapel. Oh, gut, dass ich da hingegangen bin. Gleich was Tolles gefunden. Warum kann ich jetzt nicht mehr rennen? Und mit den zwei knappen Typen sprechen.
Are you all right?
The bastard hit the wall next to me. I don't even know if he meant to miss.
If you've been hurt, I can help you. I'm a doctor.
Name's Albert. Remember it. Now bugger off.
Der Mann, nach dem du gesucht hast, ist tot. Ja, da gehen wir gleich drauf ein.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? If you know anything about her, I'd appreciate it.
Never heard of her. She's pretty, I'll keep an eye out.
What happened? Did you really steal that man's medication?
Hey, I didn't do anything, it ain't me.
All right. Perhaps the poor drunk just confused you with someone else.
Sod off, mister. You ain't got no clue what's going on here. Bastard was a soldier in the war, so now he's got the right to shoot me.
It's true. I'm not familiar with this part of town. Perhaps you could help me.
I said sod off. Go find yourself another guide.
Ein sehr unhöflicher junger Mann.
I found the recruiter you were expecting. He's dead, but he carried a note. The Wet Boot Boys have accepted your application.
I knew it! I told you I was tough enough. I'll be free soon.
Free? You may soon find out that you have simply traded one set of shackles for another.
You're all fancy words, none of which concern me. Go worry about someone else. I'm fine and I have a future here.
Ah, der kam erstmal nicht weiter.
Goodbye, young man.
Boots will be proud of me.
Someday you'll understand. You've wasted your life away. What?
Shooting a boy in the middle of a street. Not the best thing to do, wouldn't you say?
What? You saw what happened. Who are you?
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you promise me to set your gun aside.
No. Look, I'm not a violent man. I'm Benjamin Palmer, doctor. And no one can help me. Not even you.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Have you heard anything?
It's funny, I've been searching for her too. I need some pills. But the woman is a phantom, if you ask me.
Really? And why is that?
Word is she ain't real. She's a cover for some doctor who runs an illegal dispensary for migrants.
What can you tell me about this place?
Nothing to say, really. This is where I used to live, and this is where I live now.
You don't have anywhere to go? No family that would welcome you?
Not since the death of my wife, Albert's mother. She was sick. see? Long before the flu and all this shit.
You mean you used to have a better life?
Yeah, I had a wife, a home, and a job. I even used to have a name. Now I'm just Ben. Ben the tramp.
Perhaps you could focus for a moment and tell me your troubles.
I'm sick, broke, and my son just stole my pills. Everything's coming up roses.
Whatever the boy did, I'm sure he didn't deserve a public execution.
I swear I didn't want to hit him. It's just that I'm sick in the head, you see, and the boy just faked me last nerve.
Das ist immer noch kein Grund, auf ihn zu schießen.
What is it, Benjamin? It was the war, wasn't it? Your nerves are shot, aren't they? I need some answers, Private. From one soldier to another.
The doctors called me a liar, a coward. Put me in a straitjacket, locked me up. Finally, they sent me back to the front lines with a handful of tablets.
What about those we left behind, face down in the mud? You want to change places with them? You cannot waste your chance at life this way.
It's not that simple. I wouldn't have expected you to understand. I don't even know why I spoke to you in the first place.
Das ist nicht gut gelaufen.
A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper make a terrible cocktail, sir. Goodbye for now.
Naja, nicht jedes Gespräch kann mit Erfolg gekrönt sein. Lohnt sich dann auch noch mal neu zu spielen. Bei Gelegenheit. Was haben wir denn da? Ein Gebiet, wo wir noch nicht rein können. Okay.
Good evening, Benjamin. Can I help you?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Reed.
A gun?
Ich wusste nicht, dass er das wieder ist. Und dass ich da jederzeit wieder hoch kann. Oh, Ratten! Durst.
Blood.
Hunger. Ja, damit.
This
Ja, damit.
despicable.
Immer her mit den guten Ratten. Kann ich noch nicht rein. Okay.
When science fails you, this elixir will give you faith again.
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic?
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need to help keep you in perfect health.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
Tell me, who intrigues you most in Whitechapel?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives away her flowers.
Is there anyone I should avoid?
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants as soon as they get here.
What do you think of the locals?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling.
Nun denn, wieder eine Händlerin angetroffen. Husten Sie nicht in der Öffentlichkeit, verhindern Sie Ansteckung. Unbedachtes Spucken, Schneuzen und Husten verbreitet die Grippe. Sie verbreitet sich durch Tröpfchen aus Nase und Rachen. Husten Sie nicht in der Öffentlichkeit.
Joe, please, I don't have your money.
Come on, Barrett, you know the game. You pay for peace of mind.
Can't you just look the other way this week, Joe? Come on, we can sort it out, right?
It's not my call, Barrett. You pay one way or another.
Please, Joe. How long have we known each other? We even used to be neighbours, for Christ's sake.
I'd prefer not to give you another beating, Barrett.
Welcome, sir. Please, take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse, then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
So she's trying to help her fellow immigrants. Why would that make her a villain?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
How is business around here?
Business? I have no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
What you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged, though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Right then. Show me what you have.
Er hat auf jeden Fall einiges. So. Mit der Ladebildschirm. Wegen den Gebieten wahrscheinlich.
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off!
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reed, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine, and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well, too.
A job? So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
Most people don't become thugs when unemployed. This is a choice you made.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons, and that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Vielleicht muss ich dann doch erst nochmal mit dem anderen Knaller sprechen.
Fancy buying something, sir?
You never lose your focus, do you? Joe Peterson. He's the villain here, isn't he? But you seem to know each other.
I'd known Joe for years. I saw him box once or twice. He was a friend then. But these days, he's just another thug.
What can you tell me about Mr. Peterson? Besides his behavior toward you, obviously.
Colossus Joe was a decent boxer, good one even. But after his wife passed away, he found every excuse to stop training. Just wanted to pick fights with everyone.
Without making excuses for him, it's safe to say that despair can poison even the sanest mind.
We've all had some rough times, ain't we? But most of us don't use our fists to see us through.
And no one has ever stood up to this thug.
Nobody would be fool enough to stand against a wet boot boy.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Lewis.
Gucken, was wir hier noch haben. Auf jeden Fall wieder eine Mülltonne zum Plündern. Was haben die denn da? Was haben wir denn da? Neue Blutprobe am Start. Das ist gut. Abgenutztes Beil. Loot. Wieder die offizielle Gesundheitswarnung. Na, gehen wir mal hier hin. Müssten wir ja dann noch richtig sein. Aber es gibt hier halt noch so viel zu entdecken, wo man noch hin kann. Hauptquest. Ereignis. Ereignis in Ausrufezeichen.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to.
Immerhin hat er eine Bronchitis, der Alte. Finde Hinweise darauf, was Darius Petrescu im Schilde führt. Da hinten kann ich auf jeden Fall lauschen.
It's locked.
Es ist keine Möglichkeit, auf die andere Seite zu kommen. Ja, irgendeine Möglichkeit muss es doch geben, hier rüber zu kommen, oder nicht? Das könnte sich alles als sehr schwierig herausstellen. Weil ich gerade überhaupt keinen Plan habe, wie ich hier vorankommen soll. Weil das Spiel lässt mich schon mal nicht hier durch. Komme ich jetzt auf die andere Seite?
I will return later.
Back in the grave!
Quarantäne.
I cannot enter.
Da komme ich aber nicht rein. Bleibt weg. Das hat sich auch schon erledigt. Da komme ich nicht weiter. Wie komme ich jetzt da in dieses Haus rein? Das ist halt die Frage, die ich mir gerade stelle. Hier lang gibt es keinen Weg. Von der Seite nicht, von der anderen Seite nicht. Das gestaltet sich jetzt doch als sehr schwierig.
It's locked, all right.
Ja, schön, dann hüpft doch drüber, Mensch. Weißt du, sie geben ihm schon die Vampirfähigkeit, dann kann ich nicht mal da drüben auf das Dach hochspringen. ist das für ein Kack? Wie komme ich da drüben auf die andere Seite?
When science fails you, this elixir will give you faith again.
Stinking alley reeking worse than a week old lavvy.
It's all a bloody joke to you, innit? Stupid drugs for the sick and suffering.
I can't believe I'm doing this. This is despicable.
Toll. Wie komme ich da jetzt hin? Ja, toll. Und nu? Ja, toll. Von der anderen Seite könnte ich ihn belauschen, aber ich kann nicht auf die andere Seite gehen. Warum lässt mich das Spiel nicht auf die andere Seite, verdammt? Das ist doch scheiße, ist doch das. Suche Hinweise auf darauf, was Darius im Schilde führt. Ja, und wie soll ich das machen, wenn das Spiel mir nicht hilft? Wenn mir das Spiel alle Wege versperrt, die dorthin führen. Ich meine, dieser Weg ist versperrt. Aber da drüben... Der ist aber auch zu.
There's nobody here.
Ja, toll. Und jetzt? Es gibt aber auch keine Möglichkeit, auf das Dach zu klettern.
It's locked.
Es ist verschlossen. Toll. Das hilft mir unheimlich viel. Ich kann hier nirgendwo hochspringen. Obwohl ich das eigentlich können müsste. So aufs Dach und weiter. Hier gibt es auch nichts.
Its effectiveness has been proven by many.
Mein Spiel ist schon geil, aber ich hasse solche Abschnitte in Spielen. Dann laufe ich wieder eine Stunde lang durch die Gegend oder 2, 3 Stunden lang und finde den Weg immer noch nicht.
It's locked, all right.
Ja, da will mich das Spiel nämlich auch nicht durchlassen. Das ist doch für die Tonne, ist doch das. Wie soll ich denn da jetzt reinkommen?
I have this thirst for blood.
Me, I'll not die in some piss stinking alley reeking worse than a week old lavvy.
You'll understand.
Boots will be proud of me.
Wasted your life.
can't believe I'm doing this. It's locked.
Oh, Junge!
I cannot enter.
Ist denn in diesem Scheißspiel überhaupt mal eine Tür offen?
Hello, young man. I'm Dr. Reed, and I would like to ask you a few questions. May I enter, please?
Sorry, no, sir. My father does not like people entering our house, you see.
Your father is worried about you, boy. He asked me to look for you.
So my father actually worries about me then? Okay then. Come on in. I'm
Naja.
Harry, by the way. Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
Ich muss erstmal eine Hausdurchsuchung durchführen. Mein Junge. Immerhin einer, der mich reinlässt.
It's locked.
It's locked, it's locked, it's locked, Junge. Was ist denn hier überhaupt geöffnet? Absagebrief, sehr geehrter Mr. Patterson. Es ist leider meine Pflicht, Sie darüber in Kenntnis zu setzen, dass wir Ihre Bewerbung für die Stelle in der Werft ablehnen müssen. Aber danke Ihnen dafür, dass Sie uns im Gespräch die Schwierigkeit Ihrer Lage mit Ihrem kranken Sohn und Ihrer verstorbenen Gattin erläutert haben. Es ist jedoch ein ausdrücklicher Teil unserer Firmenpolitik, keine ehemaligen Verbrecher oder Häftlinge anzustellen. Ihre unseligen Verbindungen zu den berüchtigten Wet Boot Boys wurden ordnungsgemäß berücksichtigt. Dies sind schwere Zeiten, Sir, und Finch und Harper berücksichtigt zuerst jener Bewerber, die unseren flüchtigen Nachforschungen über unsere Zukunft Mitarbeiter genügen. Sie haben mein tief empfundenes Mitgefühl, möge Gott Ihnen und Ihrer Familie gnädig sein, bla bla bla. Professionelle Vampirjäger. Wenn Sie vermuten, dass jemand ein Vampir ist, versuchen Sie nicht, ihn zu töten. Sie haben keine Chance. Melden Sie sich lieber bei mir oder informieren Sie einen professionellen Vampirjäger. Diese Männer und Frauen sind selten, aber sie wissen, wie man mit diesen bösartigen Wesen umgeht. Es scheint auch so, als würden einige von ihnen unter dem Namen Wache von Briefen zusammenarbeiten. Diese paramilitärische Organisation hat sich der Ausmerzung aller Vampire in London verschrieben. Sie sind ihre Freunde. Sie sind nicht allein, es gibt Lösungen. Seien Sie schlau, verbreiten Sie die Kunde. Clarence Crossley, melden Sie sich für weitere Informationen direkt bei mir.
So, may I ask you a few questions?
I'm not bothered. What could be worse?
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
Yes, I know her. She came here to examine me when I was very sick. She said I should go out more.
How do you feel?
I'm fine. I mean, it's not easy every day, but I'm fine. I'm just tired of being sick all the time. If only I could be tough like... Well, you know.
Speaking of which, What can you tell me about your father?
My father is an idiot who makes idiot things. That's all I have to say.
Forgive my bluntness, young man, but you don't seem happy living in Whitechapel.
Why should I? I never wanted to come here in the first place. It was my father's decision. And look around you. Does this look like a nice place to live?
I'm sure your father did his best when he found this house. Times are tough for everyone, young man.
That's exactly what my father says. Harry, you should be grateful for what you've got. But I wasn't even consulted when we moved here.
If life here is so terrible for you, why don't you just leave this place? Have you ever spoken to your father about it?
I don't go outside. It terrifies me so. I went outside once without my father noticing and I saw terrible things. Bloody and frightening things.
So that's why you stay at home all day? For fear of the epidemic?
I'm not afraid of disease or death, Dr. Reed. It's the living I'm afraid of.
Your father and Mr. Lewis used to be good friends. What happened, Harry?
I was young then. I don't remember Mr. Lewis ever coming back again after my mother died. Or was it after my father started bullying him? I don't know.
But you are not responsible for your father's actions.
Am I not? Dad always says that he joined that gang for my safety. So if I wasn't born, people wouldn't be worrying about Colossus Joe.
Have you tried speaking to Mr. Lewis about it?
I don't go out often, but yes. And he scolded me and told me to leave him alone. I guess my father frightens him too much.
Would it ease tensions with your father if he got an honest job? Because he tried, you know.
Can't say. I'd be glad if he dropped his thuggish activities. But I'm not sure it would be enough.
Why is that?
Sometimes I suspect it's me, Dr. Reed. Or it's this life. It's like I can't find my place.
Goodbye, young man. Take care of yourself.
Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
Arme kann dann schon leid tun, ne, der Junge. Na, immerhin konnten wir schon mal noch so ein bisschen questmäßig was erreichen. So, jetzt muss ich gucken, wie kann ich hier raus? Weil da muss ich doch hin. Da, wo der Typ steht. Gibt es hier keinen Hinterausgang? Das ist einfach nur zum Kotzen. Mann.
Is there only pain and suffering?
I should never have taken up my father's business.
You again? What do you want this time?
Harry doesn't seem happy living in Whitechapel. Why did you make him come here?
I've always put my son's interests above everything else, whatever he may think. Our house is small but affordable. The walls are thin, but the door is solid.
You really love your son, don't you, Mr. Peterson?
He's my pride and joy. Even if he hates me for the choices I make and pushes me buttons more than he should.
Since the criminal nature of your job means you could be arrested, are you not afraid of what would happen to your boy if you were?
No one will ever take my son away from me. If that ever occurred, I'd hunt the bastard down and rip off his head with my bare hands.
Do you have any regrets?
Only one. Not to have my beloved wife by my side. She died when Harry was little. My sweet Jane. She gave the boy confidence.
Why do you keep on working for the gang, Joe? You know it doesn't suit you.
It's true, I hate this job. And I know I made some bad choices, but I'm a wet boot boy now. People won't forget it.
You could leave tomorrow. Start another life in another town.
That's easy for you to say, Doctor. We are poor. My son's weak. And there's no way he'll endure another disappointment.
Ja, es sind auf jeden Fall Gründe, die man nachvollziehen kann, ne?
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Mal gucken, ob er noch einen anderen Dialog jetzt parat hat.
Fancy buying something, sir?
You never lose your focus, do you? What do you know of Harry Peterson? The boy seems so fragile. Not like his father at all.
Harry's a good boy, but he spends most of his time complaining. He's had it tough, all right, but he needs to grow a pair.
What troubles him exactly?
Well, despite being his father's son, almost everything, I think. He never wanted to come to Whitechapel in the first place. Hates this place more than most of us.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Lewis.
So, aber ist er nicht der Typ, der jetzt gegenüber von dem Tor rumgelungert hat, was ich nicht öffnen konnte? Scheinbar nicht. Und die Ecken sehen auch hier in der Dunkelheit alle gleich aus.
No one's there.
Nee. Oh Mann, wie soll ich denn rüber auf die andere Seite kommen? Das ist doch scheiße.
Oh, please, I don't have your money.
Come on, Baron, you know a game you pay for peace of mind.
For there is no protection against malevolence.
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
So, you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in her country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
is just the instinctive answer of a caveman facing something he does not understand. This is the 20th century.
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool?
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and can't
Quite a...
Well, you...
I am. But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition. What do you mean when you... Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I sent him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupted city.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
I have heard enough for tonight. Goodbye.
Junge, 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 schon wieder so ein Prediger. Da bin ich auch schon gewesen, ne, in der Ecke. Das ist der Friedhof. Wenn man denn nur wüsste, wie man hier, wenn ich nur wüsste, wie ich da weiterkomme. Zu diesem Petresco-Typen da. Hab ich da gerade einen Grabstein im Vorbeilaufen kaputt gemacht? Ja, egal. Das interessiert eh keinen. Ist sowieso tot. Ja, ich habe keinen Plan, wie ich da jetzt weiter verfahren soll. Keine Ahnung. Ich weiß es nicht. Ist mir eigentlich auch völlig egal. Dann komme ich halt nicht weiter in der Hauptquest. Was soll ich machen, wenn mich das Spiel nicht lässt? Das Spiel sagt, nö, du kommst wieder hier durch, noch da durch. Soll man denn sonst weiterkommen im Spiel? Das ist schwierig. Wo ist denn das der nächste Unterschlupf? Ist auch nicht gerade hilfreich. Muss ich da lang, die nächste rechts ab. Ich muss erstmal zum Unterschlupf, erstmal eine Speicherung machen. Sei denn, das ist der Unterschlupf, wo ich nicht reinkomme. Das ist dann auch wieder scheiße. Ha! Hier ist Unterschlupf. Sehr schön. Wunderbar. So. Jetzt habe ich die Tür geöffnet. Vielleicht komme ich ja von hier aus zu meinem Ziel. Lassen wir uns einfach mal überraschen. Also hier komme ich auf jeden Fall raus, wo ich vorher wahrscheinlich nicht rausgekommen wäre. Würde ich jetzt einfach mal so vermuten. Whitechapel. Diesmal komme ich wenigstens da rein. Dann habe ich meinen Weg dort rein gefunden. Sehr gut. Zack, zack, zack. Alles soweit eingesammelt. Und es gibt 3 Wege, die hier wieder rausführen im Zweifelsfall. Oh, ein Safe. Gut, dann würde ich sagen, machen wir erstmal einen Break an der Stelle. Ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen. Wenn ja, lasst mir gerne ein Like und ein Abo da. Bis zum nächsten Mal dann. See ya.